Falta, welcome to this tutorial. You are going to get amazing value from this. I've packed it with really useful phrases that you can use every day and grammar breakdowns as well. The purpose of this tutorial, I will explain everything as much as I can so that beginners and Irish people who are more accustomed to the language can both get value alike. Bon Tatnavos, enjoy, and just before we head on, it's Misha Jenny. I'm Jenny and I'm a mum and I'm a teacher and I founded Gaeilge School Online. I have a bachelor's, master's and postgraduate diploma in education, and now I help parents speak Irish at home. So Erilin, on we go. The verbs that we're going to look at in this tutorial are these four here. Dain. Dain is the verb to do or to make, so it means to do and to make. I is to eat. Si is to sit. And shas is to stand. Now, just a disclaimer as well, we have three dialects in Irish. We've got Munster, Connacht and Ulster. I'm just going to do the standard here, the standard Irish I'm quite on, but I have links to pronunciation for all of these verbs below so that you can check out if you have an interest in one of the particular dialects, Ulster, Connacht or Munster. Now, there are some nouns in here, so I'm going to do a breakdown of the nouns first, just pronunciation and what they mean before we get onto the phrases. So, Bricfasta. Bricfasta is breakfast. Obervalia. Obervalia is homework. It can be pronounced Oberwalia either, like a W. Laba is bed. Laba. And Cahir is chair. Cahir. So we have Bricfasta, breakfast. Obervalia, homework. Laba is bed. And Cahir is chair. And just in case you didn't know, Ober means work. And Balia, without the H, is home. So it's homework, it's backwards. So now let's look at our phrases. So this is given orders in Irish. So how do you tell someone to do something in Irish? And we're going to use these ones here. So we're going to look at how to say do your homework with the verb dain, make your bed with the verb dain. We're going to look at eat your breakfast with the verb I, sit down on the chair with the verb si, and stand up with shas. So let's take a look at the orders now, and then we're going to do a breakdown afterwards so that you can fully understand them. So we're just going to use the verb itself. So in Irish, when we're giving an order to one person, we just use the verb in its original form. So we don't change anything about the verb. That's why giving orders in Irish is nice and easy. So to say do your homework, we just use Jane or Dane. And then your homework, do obervalia. Dain do obervalia. Now we're going to look at the breakdown next and we'll explain all the different grammar points. But Dain do obervalia is do your homework. So if you want to say that to your child, Dain do obervalia, do your homework. Make your bed is again using the verb dain to do or to make, and it's just dain do laba. Dain do laba. Eat your breakfast, then we're just going to use the verb to eat, and again in its original form, I do breakfasta. I do breakfasta is eat your breakfast. Sit down on a chair, we're going to look at sit down first. Si shias. Si shias is sit down. Shias is down. Shias. Si shias. Now on the is air on. Air is on. And on is the, air on the, and then we have Cahir is chair, and then we put an error before it, so you don't have to worry about that right now, but it's Sishis air on Gahir. Sishis air on Gahir. And then stand up, Suis is up, so we have Shias is down, and Suis is up. Shas, suis, shas is verb stand, so shasus is stand up. Now, Junimas Buchanan Brishashias. Now we'll just do a little bit of a breakdown so that you fully understand them, because the more you understand something, the easier it will be to remember it. So we're going to look at the first few. So we have a lot of your in here. Do, D-O, just do, is your in Irish. Now, when we put do before a vowel, so if our noun that comes after do starts with a vowel, like obervalia does, we lose the vowel. So you lose the O in do, and we just put an apostrophe there. So it comes together, the ober, your work, the ober, or the obervalia, your homework. So the O loses because it's coming together with another vowel. So basically two vowels don't like each other in Irish. They don't usually come together. Now, if we have D before a consonant, it will take a shevu. So a shevu in Irish is when we add in the letter H after the first letter. So if you remember, breakfast was breakfast without the H, but after D we add in a H. It's called a shevu after D. So D breakfast is your breakfast, and it changes how we say it. So it was breakfast before, and now it's breakfast with a V sound. These are the only letters in Irish that can take a shevu. And sometimes there will be exceptions, but on the whole, these letters B, C, D, F, G, M, P, S, and T can take a shevu. Now we're going to look at air, which is on, and then air on is on the. So air with a vowel, there's no change. Air plus a consonant, there is a H. So air voward is on a table. Table is just boward, B-O-R-D, but air voward on a table with a H. There does be exceptions with this as well, just a disclaimer for anyone who is watching this and does know a little bit about grammar. When there are certain phrases in Irish where these rules don't apply. So funnily enough, if you're on board a ship, you would just say air boward or air board without the H. But if it's on a table, it's air board, air voward. But forget all that if that's above your head. Air on is on the, but it's actually followed by an uru. An uru is different to a shevu. It's when we put a different letter in front of another consonant in Irish. Again, if this is all too much for you, don't worry about that. I'm going to give you a tutorial in just a few minutes of where you can actually find all the answers for these, so you don't even have to remember the rules. Air on Gaeilge, so that's why we have a G in front of Gaeilge, because if you remember, in our nouns page, or on our nouns page, we have Gaeilge is chair, but it's air on Gaeilge. These are the only letters in Irish that can take an uru, and again, sometimes there's exceptions. Now I'm going to show you a little grammar hack of where you can actually find out all of this for yourself, so that you don't even have to worry about remembering all the rules. So you're going to go to changlan.ie. I have this link below because you can get all the pronunciation there, but changlan.ie, this is in the English version, and you can click Gaeilge to have it in the Irish version. But you're also going to click grammar. So if you look down on the site, you have your Irish English. This is it's kind of like your Irish dictionary. So in English, we'd have an English dictionary. Then you've got your English Irish, and you have a grammar database, and then you have your pronunciation database, which will give you the pronunciation to nearly almost all nouns in every dialect. However, we're going to look for the grammar database. Now we have been looking at prepositions, so let's have a look at that one now. You can choose preposition and noun. We're going to choose air because that's on. And then we're going to do the one that we looked at, which is board, which is table. And then we're going to have a look at what it tells us, which it's going to say that it is air voward on a table. But then you remember we had air on, which is on the, followed by an uru, so you can actually see it's air on married, which is on the table. Now this is another point that I left out of my slides. So again, just a little disclaimer, and this might be too much information if you're just a beginner. It says here that air on married, which is air on followed by an uru, is the central system. So this is the main grammar point that has been taught for a long time, and that was the only way that what used to be accepted. And this is for almost all dialects except for Ulster. However, in Ulster, they add in a shevu after air on. So they're just an exception. Makes it a little bit more complicated. But again, don't worry about it if that's too much. Let's look again at prepositions. We had your breakfast. So let's go to the, which is your. And then let's go for breakfast. Now you do have to type everything in here in Irish, but you can check the English-Irish dictionary first if you don't know what something is. And then, so the is yours, breakfast is breakfast, and it tells you the breakfast, your breakfast. So this is where you can easily check up any prepositions and nouns that you want to. That's all we've looked at so far, but you can actually check up nouns and adjectives and possessives and nouns as well, and lots of different things here. Now, just to show you the pronunciation database, because I've linked this below. So if you want to know how do they say breakfast in Ulster, or how did I say it in Connacht, or how did I say it in Munster, you can just type in your word again in Irish. So you might have to use English Irish Dictionary first to get your word, then type it in and click pronunciation, and you will have it in all the 3 dialects. Now, as a bit of a bonus, I'm going to show you how to add in don't. So we've done make your bed, do your homework, eat that, sit down, stand up. But how do you say don't do that? Don't eat that, don't sit there, don't stand on a chair. It's really, really easy in Irish, and you just add in no, no, kind of like to gnaw on a bone. So it's no Danishin. So Danishin would be do that, but no Danishin is don't do that. I was eat, but no Haitian. Now you'll remember that in Irish, vowels don't like each other. They need an in-between guy. So in this case, it's H. So no Haitian. No Haitian. No Haitian. Don't eat that. No Shin. Don't sit there. No Shin. And then no shas on gair. So don't stand on the chair. Or no shas on gair. No shas on gair. Don't sit on the chair. So we've had our look at that. So it's just no dain, which is don't do. But again, it starts with a vowel. So it's no he. It'd be the same with ol. Ol is to drink. And it would be no whole ishin. Don't drink that. Now, we've looked at how to give an order to one person, but many of the mummies and daddies in our courses and that have our guides, they have more than one child, so they want to be able to say, give an order in Irish to more than one person. The ending is easy, but we do have to change our nouns to plural as well. So, example, your bed becomes your beds. In English, this is easy. We still use your and we just add an S on the end. But in Irish, the ending of our nouns change in the plural. So let's first look at the endings. When we're saying our endings, it's very easy. We just add in the sound igi, igi. So dain, which is to do, becomes dainigi, with the igi sound at the end, dainigi. Now, there's 2 different spellings for the endings, and we're not going to go into this now because there's already lots of grammar in this video. But basically, it comes down to whether the vowels in the verb are broad or slender, and then this is a broad ending, this is a slender ending. So dain, E, A, and O are broad vowels, and I and E are slender vowels. But the good news is that igi is the sound that they both make. So they both make the same sound. So when you're speaking, it doesn't matter. You don't need to know the rules. But if you were writing and you wanted to check, you can always get in the dictionary really, really easily. So Danishin, do that to more than one person would be Dainigiation. Dainigiation. Dain da laba, make your bed, would be Dainigi war lapacha, or Dainigi vor lapacha, vor or war. And then lapacha is the plural. So again, if you go to the dictionary and you type in laba and you press grammar, it'll tell you what the plural is. So you can always look that up. It the breakfast, eat your breakfast comes to ihgi war mrikfosti. Ihgi war mrikfosti, because war is the plural for you. Si shees becomes sigi shees. Now si shees an gahir, sit down on a chair, becomes sigi shees na kahiracha, na kahiracha, because that's the plural. And shasus becomes shasagisus, so that's a nice easy one. However, if you're just learning and you haven't got the singular down, I would focus on the singular first, because there's lots of grammar in here. There's plurals, etc., different grammar, because after your, there's an uru, the letter can take an uru. So the plural gets a little bit more complicated. Focus on the singular first, and then when you're good with that, you can move on to the plural. Dynamite achormurnish, we'll just do a little summary of all the phrases that you've learned today, which is loads actually. Imagine if you added all of these into your day at home with your kids. or with your partner, or with your dog even, or with your pets. Sometimes people tell me, Irish moms tell me they don't have anyone to speak Irish to, but if you have a pet, then you can use some of these. So do your homework is Déan do Obervalia, Déan do Obervalia. Make your bed, Déan do Laba. Eat your breakfast, do Bhriccposta. Sit down on the chair, Síos an Gcathaoir. Stand up, Seas Suas. Don't do that, ná Déan é sin. Don't eat that, ná hi é sin. Don't sit there, ná sían sin. And don't stand on a chair, ná Seas an Gcathaoir. Ná Seas an Gcathaoir. Sinné Tosulum Garhanja Shin Lath. I hope that you like that. You don't have to have understood everything from there. Even taking one phrase and just knowing a little bit more about it would be such an added difference. Definitely give a like and subscribe if you like this, because we're a new channel, so it helps me know that people like this content. And if you are an Irish mammy or daddy, then you should go down to the description and click Irish for Parents now and read all about our Irish speaking guides for parents. Slán go fóill agus slán as ban.